This is the orientation video for the University of New Haven, our Math 1107 and 1108 courses on college mathematics that are on campus for the spring of 2023. I'm doing it together because both of these courses use the same textbook. The 1107 covers a few more topics than the 1108. Now, this term, as we have in the past, we're going to be using the software Hawks. Now, in this software, there are three areas: a learn, a practice, and a certify. Now, once you are in the program, the textbook is listed here, and continuing, you can see the topics that are covered for the particular course. Looking at this slide, we see there's the learn, there's the practice, and there's the certify. Now what I've done, and I'll read this along with you, this term, as I've done in the past few years, we will use what is called the flipped classroom model. Now, some may know what it's like, but basically what it is I've taken the Learn slides, which is the textbook of the course, and made an oral visual lesson that I recorded in video that you will view and take detailed notes on before you come to class. That's the flipped part of it. In the past, we would do this in class, but there are some benefits for having it this way. The plus of this is that you can view this at your own speed in the privacy of your room, whether it's at home or in the dorm. You can pause, you can rewind, you can even review it again. Now, each student has a different pace at which they learn and can do things. So this, I think, is ideal for that type of situation. So when you do come to the classroom, we will review what you've done in the flipped classroom portion in a notebook we call the classwork practice notebook. And then following, we used to do it in class, but now we let you do it online. You will do what is called an open notes quiz, and that will be submitted through our school's software program, Canvas. The quiz will follow the sequence of your notes, and there'll be a few new items that just check your knowledge of the topic. These quizzes aren't meant to be difficult. They're basically a check that you've taken good notes and, of course, count toward your grade. Now, this term we're going to be using two notebooks. Each notebook is worth 5% of your end of term grade, so a total of 10%. And here's what your notebooks will look like. Now in this one, I've purchased these little composition books, put a label on it, put a rubric in front, and then give them to the student at no charge. It's my little gift in a sense, so we have a little bit of uniformity. This is the rubric, and what it says is you are to take detailed notes prior to coming to class, and that these notes will be used for an open notes quiz. Now, this is what they look like. So if you're in 1107, you're starting in chapter 1, putting the title down, and then detailing the notes using diagrams, writing examples, and highlighting. Here's another page of the notes, just to show you what they're like. Now, I don't follow the lines exactly. You can if you'd like. I like to write big, so people can see it, and I'm using it to view. Now, of course, what are notes for? Well, you are to study them and know what's there. If you have a question, then in the classroom you can ask about this. Now, as part of the Hawks software, a second area is practice. So what I did is I went into the practice, took screenshots of the practice, and then developed them into a second notebook, which I'm calling the Classwork Practice Notebook. And then these are examples of the practice relating to the flipped classroom lesson that we do in class and use as a discussion. Now, instead of having handouts, I've put them all together in this booklet, and I give you this, again, as something that I've taken care of and I find useful. So again, examples right from the practice. And then once you do the practice and in lab and at home, you do the homework. This is what the practice page looks like. And again, the nice thing of software is that if you're ever stuck on something, there's a tutorial bar down here. Click on that and it'll help you solve the problem. In lab, if there's a teacher or a tutor available, we can help you with that as well. Now, this is very much similar to the Certify page. I'll click on that, and this is the Certify page. And you might say, well, what's the difference? Well, there is no tutorial bar here. That's the difference. And there is a little bar that goes across the top that as you achieve success, this bar fills in, and completing the Certify by the due date, and this is worth 25% of your end of term grade. Now, as motivation to get it done, there is a penalty if you pass the due date. If after 1 week you haven't done the Certify for a particular lesson, it's only worth 50% of what it would have been worth had you done it on time. So kind of keep that in mind. Generally, there's plenty of time to get it done, but you need to watch the due dates. Now, I'm making this in October of 2022, so we haven't developed the pacing charts, but we will have a little link eventually up here to what your particular pacing chart for your class. It tells what is expected to have been accomplished by the certain class date, when the quizzes are due, when the tests are going to be taken, and in general, what is done every day that we meet. Now, another area that students are often interested in is grading. So here is the grading for our course. They're both the same, whether it's the 1107 or 1108. The Flipped Classroom Video Notebook, that is the classwork and the lecture booklet, is 10% altogether. The quizzes that you take, the open note quizzes, 10% of your grade. The certification, which is the homework, 25% of the grade. And again, there is a penalty if these are past due. Now we have 4 tests, and they're each worth 10%, so 40%. And then we have a comprehensive final exam that is 15%. Now, this asterisk indicates a good deal that if on your first attempt of a test you get less than, 70 or less, we allow you to take the test again after you've met certain requirements, and we'll explain that, of course, during the class. Okay. Now, where are the flipped classroom video lessons found? Well, as we mentioned above, there is a school software called Canvas, and when you are in your active courses, you click on Canvas, and there is a section called Modules. You click on Modules, and there is where you click on the actual lesson. I'm going to pause and actually show you what it's like in a class that was held in a previous semester. Now I'm in my charger, and if I click on this star here, this is the icon for Canvas, and in a moment the Canvas courses will open. This fall 2022, I have two courses, an 1107 and an 1108, and they both run in a similar way. Let's click on the 1107. And then over here on the left, the menu bar, it opens by default into modules. And there is module 1. And then there is the learn. So by clicking on these, you get to the actual learn. And again, there's 4 modules. Let's click on one just to show you. And it opens up into a video that I posted to YouTube. And very shortly it will start, hopefully. So there it is. You can click on it. And again, in YouTube, you can adjust the speed. You can have it at standard speed, slower speed, faster speed, pause it, and of course you can review it again. Now if I click over on the menu bar assignments, this is where the open notes quizzes are. And of course the due dates are for last semester. And then going on down, you actually get to the homework assignments to certify. And Canvas and Hawks are linked together. Now, as I mentioned, I have my videos posted to YouTube. So in a sense, you could go to YouTube directly or learn. If you go to the search bar on YouTube, type in UNH Math Zone 1107, that will bring you up to the Learn. And then if you type in UNH Math Zone without the 1107, that'll bring you to the site where I have the practice lessons that we use in our classroom. But again, we'll be going over a lot of this stuff once you are in the classroom. Now I'd like to show you what a quiz looks like. When you click on it, the Open Notes quiz comes up like this. What I will have you do in your Flip Classroom lesson booklet is make an answer column, answer these questions, put this into your booklet, take a picture of it, and you upload it to Canvas. But again, more information on that coming up. The ones that I have in red here are the new items. The other things in black are all things that were in the Flip Classroom lesson and should have detailed in your notes. So it's just a check, basically, of your notes. Now, where do we meet when we are on campus? Well, it's North Hall, and then going through these doors, there's a little atrium and then a hallway, and then there are 2 classrooms on the right. 102 is usually where we meet. These are 2 shots of it. On the left wall of the hallway are the restrooms, and then going through the doors at the far end, you get to, when we meet in lab, North Hall room 106, which looks like this. Now, there's been a new configuration that we've used already, where the central tables, where in the past they had computers, we've accommodated them for students to bring in their laptops. When we test, we use the computers around the wall, and if a student doesn't have a laptop any particular time, of course these computers are available. Professor Rivers, the director of Math Zone, also asked that we say a little bit about ourselves. I was a former high school teacher working with the Department of Defense dependent schools in Europe, in England, Spain, and the Azores at Air Force bases. This is a picture of me in front of an F-16 fighter jet. This was a picture of me with my first automobile. I was also active in scouting for many years, where I'm an Eagle Scout. This fellow on my right is one of my campers at Camp Pomperaug, and this is a picture of me in the camporee that we had there in Spain. And this was myself in my biology classroom here with some of the old high school students. Okay, well, we'll wind this up. I'd just like to say welcome again if you're going to be in my class. If you have a question or concern, you can email me at hpaulin@newhaven.edu, and happy to reply. And again, wishing you the best in any of your courses that you do in this spring term.